Welcome to Module 3, Week 4. This module will be a continuation of the theme about supporting teachers, and you will be doing a simulated learning walk this week. So I'm going to start off by just giving you general instructions, and then I'm going to go through and give you detailed instructions about this week's assignment. So basically what you are going to do is a simulated learning walk. We've given you links to 3 videos. One is an elementary reading classroom, one is a middle school math classroom, and one is a high school biology classroom. You're going to choose 2 colleagues that are in your school that will be on your curriculum management team. You're going to sit down, the 3 of you, and you're going to use the Learning Walk instrument that we have, and you're going to view the video and complete the Learning Walk instrument separately. And after you complete the Learning Walk separately, then your other 2 team members will give you their documentation, and then you are going to write a narrative based on all 3 of your documents, and you're going to submit it. So let's go through the assignment in detail so that you can see. Here are the links to the videos that's in the Blackboard course. It's not actually in the assignment. I just put them here so that you could see them. You're going to be doing a learning walk, and the purpose of the learning walk is to collect evidence and gain insight into curriculum management. This is a virtual simulated learning walk, so you're going to watch the video as I mentioned, and we've given you the links. You're going to have yourself and 2 additional professional educators, at least one of them a teacher, at your campus. You might want to have your principal if they're interested, or your mentor. And then you're going to do a summary of your data collected. You're going to do create some follow-up questions for the virtual teacher, and you're going to identify issues and make suggestions. So the goal of the simulated learning walk is to acquaint you with the impact that learning walks have on the school's learning environment. While learning walks can have multiple purposes, this one is actually focusing on curriculum management and then supporting those teachers in a coaching method when implementing standards-based curriculum. So the first thing that we want you to do is to meet with your principal. In an actual learning walk, it's important that you gain the support of your campus principal prior to making that visit to the classroom. So in this instance, what we want you to do is just inform your principal or your mentor that you're involved in a simulated learning walk, that you're going to be reviewing a video that's been provided, and that you're going to ask 2 colleagues to work with you. Again, you should have yourself and 2 professional educators. One of those must be a teacher, and the other could be your principal or mentor, your an instructional coach, or anyone that you want it to, but one must be a classroom teacher. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to, once you establish your team, then you are going to go to step 3. Step 3 is the pre-walk discussion. What you're going to do is have a meeting with your team, and you're going to discuss why you're doing this, and that the purpose is to collect evidence and gain insight into curriculum management in the classroom that you're going to observe. And this is not an evaluation of the teacher. This is making sure that you understand that. You will introduce your team members to the video activity, and then talk about when you're going to do that. Establish a time when you'll review the video together. It's very important that you go over the instrument prior to watching the video, and I'm going to go over that with you. Please make sure that you spend the time going over so that you're really collecting the correct data. And then you're going to share with your team members that you're going to document individual observations and thoughts for the observation, and then, or the learning walk, and then you're going to hand that information back over to you. They'll hand that back to you. And then if you need to answer questions for them, you can do that. Then you're going to actually do the simulated learning walk with the virtual classrooms. Again, you're going to sit down with your 2 team members and yourself, reminding the team that you're not evaluating teacher performance. You'll use the learning walk instrument that we've provided, and of course we will give you the links to the videos that you will be using. At the end of the video, then your team members are going to come together and they're going to discuss and debrief the learning walk. Then you're not going to form any conclusions. All you're going to do is to share, and then the evidence is collected by you, who's the lead walker. You're going to do step 6, which is sort of wrap up, and you're going to use the learning walk provided. You're going to write a brief narrative in the actual template. So the template's going to be used for 2 purposes. The first one is for all 3 of you to have the instrument when you do the learning walk, the simulated learning walk. And then the next time you use it as the student, you'll gather all the information and you will write the narrative inside that template. And then you'll have follow-up questions for the virtual teacher as well, and identify any issues, suggestions, or concerns that you have. Typically, you will share the narrative, if you do learning walks, with the teacher and ask for any follow-up or clarifying questions, share your ideas and suggestions. But in this simulation, that is omitted because the teacher on the video is not available. So you're going to then, like we said, submit the narrative of the learning walk using the instrument and provide a reflection. And then you'll submit that narrative, and then you're going to write a reflection on how can a campus leader use learning walks to assist teachers deliver a guaranteed and viable curriculum. So let's take a look at the actual instrument. So again, you'll print out the copies of the instrument to give to your team, and then you will gather that instrument. You do not have to submit the instruments that were used for the learning walk from your colleagues. The only thing you have to submit is, again, this document with a narrative of what the 3 of you saw. So the first thing you're going to be looking at is context. So the context has to do with the contextual aspects. For example, what was the class size? What was the subject? What was the time of day? Was there technology available? How was the room set up? What did the facilities look like? Was there a teacher's aide in or other people in there? Was it co-teaching? How were the desks and tables and other areas set up? And anything else that would affect the dissemination of the curriculum. So the first thing you'll do is, what did you visually observe? And then what did you hear or deduct? And then you wonder about some questions that you might have as you wonder about them. The next thing is going to be input. Input has to do with what's being taught. So this is more than just the title of the course. You won't just say Algebra 1 or 4th grade reading. You're going to include what the unit is, what the specific skills, lessons, or concepts the teacher was teaching. Remember, this is what you are virtually observing. The teacher's not going to be able to tell you any of this. You would include if you thought the curriculum was on time, and other considerations regarding the depth of the lesson, the complexity of the lesson, sequence, those kinds of things. So again, what did you virtually observe? What did you hear? And what do you wonder about when it comes to looking at input? The next piece that you're going to be looking at is the process. So you're going to talk about how was the teacher delivering concepts. So how was the lesson presented? Was it direct instruction? Was it group work? What activities were the students engaged with? Was technology used? How were the students grouped? Did you see any differentiation going on, or any other kinds of things that was about how the teacher was actually delivering the concepts? This section would also add things like whether any textbooks, software, any manipulatives, maps, any of those kinds of things. So again, what did you virtually observe? What did you hear? And then what are wonderings that you have? The next step is the product, and this is what were the students producing? It has to be a measurable outcome, and it would answer questions like, what are the students expected to do or produce? If it's a worksheet, that's what you're going to put down. How will the learning be measured? So is the teacher talking about how this is going to be measured? What was the learning outcome? How does the outcome fit in the scope and sequence, or any other things that have to do with the product that the student was creating? So what did you observe? What did you hear? And what did you wonder about? Here just are some resources that we are giving you about the instrument that we used. And then, so now what you'll do is you will gather all of this from your 2 team members. And then you are going to write a narrative. And so what you're going to do is to say, in each of these boxes, you will write a narrative of the 3 observations from the 3 people that you talked about. Okay, then you're going to write a reflection about how can the campus leader use learning walks to assist the teachers to deliver a guaranteed and viable curriculum. Remember now, when you're in this area, you're thinking about questions you might have for the teachers, suggestions in this I wonder about. What questions do you have for the teacher and what suggestions? That's what's going to go in the I wonder. On the last pages is the rubric. So make sure that you read the rubric, that you're getting all the information that you need about the rubric. So I think you're going to enjoy this activity. Really watch what's going on. You may have to watch the video a couple of times. Normally you don't have that opportunity when you're just going in and doing a regular learning walk. You go in, you are in there for 10 or 15 minutes and you leave. This time you can, because you're learning. Watch the video a couple of times if you need to, so that you get used to the instrument. So just to sum things up, you're going to create your team, talk to your principal first, create your team, watch the video together, sort of debrief, gather everyone's instruments. You're going to write a narrative about each of these components in the text box. The wonderings, you're going to have questions for the teacher. You're going to have suggestions for the teacher. And then part 5 is, how is this learning walk going to help teachers deliver a guaranteed and viable curriculum? How's this going to help the campus leader? So if you have questions, let us know, and we hope you enjoyed the activity.